Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Man story. Yes, no, yes, no, friend, bad. So, done a tiny bit of off-screening just because I was at a place where enemies were respawning, and despite my frustration at the last video, while hanging out and watching other stuff and keeping a save point close. This isn't a bad place at all to grind for a few levels, so we've got a few more levels. Van, Bosch, and Balthier are actually pretty tight in terms of how many experience points they have. We got like less than 20 separating Van from Balthier. But Fran, Ash, and Pinello are now actually kind of spread out a bit, mostly down to Fran having killed a whole bunch of stuff with the aid of her Esper, while Ash at one point got a little ahead by killing a few things with her Esper, and Pinello fell behind, but I've used the accessory that gives double experience to try to even them up a bit, but Fran is still ahead of the other two ladies. So here's the thing. I mentioned that I had started fighting this boss off screen just to see if it was even plausible, and it seemed like it was, that we could possibly win. One of the things it does, and I think probably the deadliest, this boss is really into status attacks. And the one that it does that I really don't know how to counter in any other way other than making myself immune is disable, because I don't think we have a spell in our quiver, as it were, right now that prevents disable. So if you're really, really paying attention, most of the boss guides actually recommend that you equip your characters with this, but when you see a prompt that says enemy is charging for this, go into your menu and switch. Like there are some where it's like you're supposed to be switching your equipment during the fight. Because most of the really nasty stuff, you get a little bit of lead that it's coming. But we're just going to make ourselves immune to disable, and for everything else, I'm having this sudden panic attack. Did I actually click start record, or did I just start talking? I did click start record. But for everything else, we're just going to cure it as it comes. I'll start with the ladies, so we'll switch to the boys if we need to. Another thing I've realized is that you shouldn't have the girls do all their missed attacks and then switch out completely to the boys, because if there's even one character who has missed charges in the party, you have that chance to get missed recharge. So the smart thing to actually do would be to start with the girls, have them all use missed, then say switch out Pinello for Bosch, and have Bosch use missed, and potentially get recharge attacks for Fran and Ash. That's actually what you should be doing, and what I will be doing here. Something similar to that. Let me save. I can't remember if I saved right before we started this video. My bad. Zodiac. Brave story. Zodiac. It's the Zodiac age. With Zodiac Braves. It occurs to me now that the Zodiac Braves in Final Fantasy Tactics, it was a legend of some warrior knights who fought against evil in the name of the church. But it might be false, and the actual Zodiacs that appear, because there are Zodiac Braves that appear in the game, and they're kind of evil creatures, evil spirits, as it were. And this game references a lot of stuff from Final Fantasy Tactics in its lore, if you're reading all the optional lore materials and paying attention, including the fact that the Espers in this game may in fact be the evil Zodiac Braves, or the evil Zodiac spirits from Final Fantasy Tactics, that you have to stop from coming back into the world. But in this version, they've already been stopped, and you can kind of slave them to your cause. So let's just go see what happens here. Oh, I need to mess with my gambits. This is probably more or less right. Trying to think, what would I have changed? I do want them attacking low HP enemies. This might actually still be okay. If I just manually deal with anybody who gets a status ailment, this will still work. I think I changed it up slightly. This is another boss who summons, like, has minions that recur. There's no way to fight this. There's no way to fight the minions first here. What? Oh shit! I know what I did. Oops. Yeah. All right, time to come clean. I actually won this fight off screen, and which is one reason that I know I'm going to be able to pull it off. I already won this fight off screen when I was checking to see if it was possible. I was kind of playing it coy a little bit with you guys, but yeah, I actually did win this fight off screen. So now I'm just going to go ahead and win it on screen, and then that'll be a thing. Yeah, no, I was saying, oh, I've played with it, blah, blah, blah. No, I actually won. I was going to try to leave a little suspense as to whether the battle was winnable, but it is. Now, I didn't win it easily. As a matter of fact, I came very close to losing, so there is suspense after a fashion. But I'd forgotten that then when I decided to grind off screen, I did it with the save slot where I'd already won the fight. I'd kind of forgotten that. So, oops, my bad. We do have slightly different gambits here because I was using Cura on the undead, which might not actually be all that good an idea. Well, I don't remember whether this boss counts as undead or not. What the hell, let's see what happens. I've already kind of made a mess of this now by starting off. I mean, everything I explained to you in the first few minutes of the video is still good, so I'm not going to restart unless we make a complete hash of it here. So we're just walking along, exploring and suddenly we got a skeleton man making out with some chick. But this sure doesn't seem like a savory pair, does it? Can't quite tell if she's a skeleton man or skeleton chick, or if he's definitely skeleton man. She may be skeleton woman. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I'm equipped with the... no, I'm not. Oops. I suddenly found myself being real lazy about redoing gambits after having gone through the gambits, and then realized I was on the wrong save slot. Again, I'm sorry, but no, we definitely need to be immune to disable, because this guy slash girl, the skeleton guy slash possibly skeleton girl, is going to use disabling spells, and if they affect all of us, I'm pretty sure that ends the battle automatically. That's game over. Well, Ash doesn't seem to be hurting it. What kind of weapon is Ash using? Because she just swung and hit for 0 damage. So either it's got like... She's got a... No, Flame Tongues should be fine. Although, actually... This boss is all about status effect magic. I was thinking about this out loud on a previous video. I feel like Shell might reduce the chances that automatic death works against you, but I don't know for sure. So I think I'll just go with something that just does more damage. Although she's still doing 0 damage. As you can see, we've got a timer. Okay. So Pinello has been killed. We cannot have that. She's our primary healer. Are we hurting this guy at all here? Okay. I think they're trying to cure it, and I don't think it's working. So let's get rid of the cure the undead thing. Maybe we'll turn it back on if any more undead show up. Like the next time he summons stuff, because they don't constantly recur, like, but they will recur. Damn it, Larsa! Wake the fuck up! Oh, I killed you, sorry. I was just trying to wake you up, I didn't mean to murder you. Well, we slowed it. That's probably good. Has it got any... It's got shell and... Oh, it's got, like... I feel like I'm asleep at the wheel here. I forgot that it's got some... it's got protect and shell going. We want to get rid of that. So... He used reverse on us. I don't remember exactly what that does. I thought it switched your MP and your HP, but... Our HP looks like it's at about the right place. So he's going for prime, okay, prime death won't work on us because none of us have a prime number as our level, so that's probably good. It's actually going better than I expected. I haven't had to use myths at all, and we're halfway through beating him up. The fact that he's non-immune to slow helps a lot, I would guess. Certainly he will be busting out some more attacks before this is over. I can't imagine we get him past 50%. And he does. Yeah, now he's bracing against attacks, so he's probably immune for a while. Okay, so let's take everyone else out. And honestly, if we can do it with regular attacks, I won't reactivate any of our... fancy pants cure the undead stuff. Attacker, cure thyself of blind. But yeah, this is definitely a fight where you don't want to ignore the minions and concentrate on the boss, even though there's a time limit. If time runs out, I believe it casts some spell that just, like, expels all party members from the battle. I don't know if it's worth. And Larsa is disabled, which I kind of figured was going to come at some point. So Enrage means he can take damage again. It may or may not give him some other boosts. He's got Reflect now. I guess we can get rid of that. I don't know if we're using any magic on him. But if we have to switch so that Balthier comes into the party, we would need to. Oh, he got Reflect. He got Reflect put on him by one of his minions, I believe. And he's using the Breath of Death. Alright, Pinello again is our healer, so somebody has to manually bring her back if she gets in trouble. And now she's confused Ash, which is not good. Make Fran our new party leader, and hopefully everyone gets raised in time. Let's go ahead and bust out the mists, because now I'm... You know what, though? I want to see what happens if you run out of time. So let's see if we can win this thing without... Oh, fudge. Everybody was hit by sleep that time. Okay. We might have just lost this battle. Because Larsa can't do any... Well, no, Larsa apparently died and is no longer disabled good. But he's also now asleep again. Okay, we might have just lost this fight. Because I was thinking, let's do it once and let time run out and see what happens. So I don't know what to do if everybody gets put to sleep. Okay, sleep is not permanent. Alright, let's see what happens if you run out of time. And then we'll do it again and we'll actually win. Because when we do it again, I'm going to... once we get it down to less than half, we'll bust out some missed attacks just to make sure. But in the interest of showing off everything. I don't know what Hawk Glare does. It's definitely doing its cinematic attacks more as it gets near the end of its hit points. And yeah, like again, I was playing it coy, pretending I hadn't already won off screen. I don't typically deceive the viewers, but this time I was sort of gaming it a little bit. But yeah, this fight, even more than the one where I won, proves to me that I really got this, probably, because we didn't even like do a bunch of mist spamming where I was like, oh, if I'd gotten a really bad roll with the mist attacks, we could have completely blown it. Here, it's like without using mist at all, we've gotten it pretty close within the time limit. But we are going to run out of time. That's it? Oh, we have a little bit of cinematic here. What happened? We almost had that thing. Well, when I say we, I mean Larsa and the girls.
It would seem this creature had other ideas and has no taste for a drawn-out battle.
Once more from the top, then? Alright, let's try this again. Once more from the top, as the man says. Make sure it's in a mode where it's taking damage before we start using any mist attacks. As you can see, we came close, but no cigar when it did not have any mist active. Or when it did not use mist attacks. Alright. Let's go ahead and get the spell on it early. And I really need Fran attacking it. Wait, which one of the girls... I really shouldn't be calling them girls, but they're fictional characters, so hopefully any females who are watching this LP will not take offense if I'm referring to fictional characters as girls. I would venture to bet, considering they're all supposed to be the young hotness, that all of them are meant to be younger than I am, if that helps. But no, I really shouldn't be calling them girls. Please attack. Even though we're generally trying to take out the minions, I want Fran attacking this Zalera until we get slow on him. I guess she actually undid haste already. So once we get the minions in hand, not that he's doing a whole lot of damage with the physical attacks, but okay. Well, we've slowed him. Her. It. Alright. I don't really know of a reason not to use the mists now. Because it didn't, other than it busting out some pretty fancy attacks, it, like, a little bit more frequently, it seemed like this is not one whose stats increase as it gets to 50% health. Could be wrong, in which case this is a mistake. She has very strange footwear, now that I look at it. Fran is really the one doing a lot of these mist attacks so far. I figure if she has a mist charge, I should use it. Because that tends to mean that if I have Pinello kind of in reserve, I can use her when mist charges are not showing up for Fran and Ash, right? I think the main thing is to get in as many attacks as possible to trigger the highest level of finishing blow to your mist sequence. I'm always going to prioritize mist charge if I notice in time. The more of these you get, the faster the timer runs out. So I went with Pinello that time, rather than reshuffling. This is the old Shiva attack, but with... And they never have their mouth on screen when they do their little goofy... Tremble! Or... Ha! Although, actually, you could kind of see that her lips weren't moving when she went, yeah! So, shame on you, game. This is what always happens. Eventually, you get to a point where you go for a reroll 3 times in a row and you never get anything because the game's like, no, you're done. This is enough mischarges. Even though Pinello never got a single mischarge in that. But now we're doing Arc Blast, which I feel like is a high-end but I guess it's just the Lightning Elemental one, and you can get whatever one you get. So maybe I'm wrong when thinking that it's particularly high-end. Well, that's it for Ash, so I'll have to choose a new party leader. Wait for it not to be charging something. I have to remember, it doesn't really matter if my party members survive or not, because I'm going to be loading a different slot, and the experience will not be affected, but I still kind of want everybody to be alive. Now, Zalera is casting Stop. I will let this play out to make sure that nobody is frozen when I go for my... Okay, it's him. Who gives a crap about Larsa? Now I can have Van go for Quickening, and I can hope that other people get Mystery Charges in this. Well, Pinello even had Mist left. It just wasn't giving me the level 1 one, because the game really had just decided, no, you're done. It's nice to have Van and Pinello working together. I haven't... Since I got into my pattern of just having the boys and the girls as the 2 separate parties I switch between, they haven't had a lot of chance to work together.
We can win this.
We have a chance to win this. And then Van says, I've got a lot of catching up to do. Followed by Fran saying, A head is for more than just... Wait, no, wait, a helmet is for more than just storing your head. What is the fucking quote? Oh, come on, game. Don't be a bitch. Oh, this is the worst one of these ever. No, I've had much better luck than that off screen as far as bring in one character and actually get some mystery charges to happen. Because I might not even get a finishing blow this time. I still did enough damage to almost take this guy out, though. You know what? It's probably not even... I was going to switch to someone else to get some more mischarges, but I don't know if it's necessary. I think we already got it. Yeah. It would have just extended things out to do that. And like spent death guy lovers and death people lovers, I should say, they lay together. Now there we go. So that's the thing. It took a whole video to do it because I showcased what happens if you fail. And I'm glad I did, because even though it wasn't voice acted, I didn't realize there was actually some little bit of dialogue there. Screw the Sky Pirates. This is the real main characters of the story right here. The two kids from the slums and the pretty princess, and then Ash. Haha, Larsa, I called you pretty princess. I guess that also is leaving out Bosch. He's not a Sky Pirate, but whatever. So, before we call it a video, the license for the Esper Zalera has been added to the board. I gave it to Balthier. Van already got Traveler from his other board, which is what it gives him, what it gives the Foebreaker, excuse me. On the Shikari board, he could have gotten 435 additional hit points. There may come a point where I really regret having not given him just a few extra hit points, but it seems unlikely. Balthier gets it. He already has Steal and Poach. He starts with them, I believe. But it gives him Traveler, which I'm not using, but like if it's a technique, it seems like it should be... You should have an extra technique rather than a couple of hundred extra hit points. But no, Valera the Death Seraph, Etherlore, whatever. Not really giving us huge extra stuff. So Fran would get Etherlore plus nothing. Bosch, I believe, literally gets nothing. He gets nothing on the the Archer board, and on the Red Mage board, he gets nothing. Ash, I think, also gets nothing. Nothing as a knight, and as a Bushi, she would get access to stuff that because it just happens. This would be good if she was a combination of Bushi and something else. She would be a good choice with Blood Sword and Karkata. But she already has those. Blood Sword was already on the Knight board without you having to do anything funky. Or perhaps I got it because of which mist thing I chose for her. And then Karkata she gets because she got Blood Sword. Or that might be reversed. Pinello, I believe, gets literally nothing. Yeah. So that's why I gave it to Balthier. So you could argue that this was not the correct tactical choice, but basically Balthier now has Travel, which he didn't have before, and that is the difference. Now, just to show what it does, and it's actually, in this zone, it's worthless, because it casts a bunch of automatic death spells. And all of the enemies here are undead and immune to automatic death spells. So it is not something that would be useful here, but just so I can show it off once in case I never get around to showing it off again. Here's what it looks like when he summons it. Zolera, the Death Seraph. Badass. Doesn't really have a... I don't even think it has a summon and animation. It just kind of shows up, and it can cast Cura. I think all of the Espers seem to be able to cast Cura because it cures them and you periodically when you're kind of between enemies. It can cast Warp, which I believe banishes all foes in range, so I'm pretty sure these enemies are immune. It casts Death, and it uses Kill, which is another automatic death, and then Condemnation, deals random damage to all foes in range. So I think the only thing it does here that will work on any of these enemies is Death, or it's Condemnation. Yeah, we're seeing Immune popping up. So we'll go ahead and have it use Condemnation just so we can see it. And then we'll call it a video, and I will load from... See, it's not even as cool looking as the... Oh, never mind. It is cool looking. We even get to see that she's like not a skeleton chick, she's like a zombie chick. We get our best ever look at her and find out that she's really just his arm. I mean, what is that? So his hand is a hot girl? What is that a euphemism for, huh? So that definitely looks cooler. I was thinking it was just going to recycle the animation from when it fights you as a boss, but that definitely looks cool. Badass. Alright, so I don't know why I'm collecting all this stuff, because I'm about to load a different save slot. But there you have it, folks. Now we have a third Esper. There is an Esper somewhere in the Moss Foreign High Wastes, and yeah, I'm just flat out getting this information from the wiki. I'm not an expert in any of this. I'm not pretending this is a blind LP. So there is an Esper at the Moss Foreign High Waste, but a quick glance at its stats suggests that it's way tougher than these ones we've beaten so far. And there's also an Esper in the Gathsmurmur whatever waterway, the sewer level has a hidden Esper, which also I think we might want to get a little further in the story and get access to better gear before we fight it, because like a quick glance at the strategy says, oh yeah, the best strategy on this one is just to take it out fast because a protracted battle is bad and it doesn't have very high hit points. And then I looked at its hit points and it's like more than twice as many hit points as the big bad flying lightning monster that we took on in Zeltenia Cavern. So their strategy guides are saying it has fairly low hit points, but it has twice as many hit points as what we've been fighting, suggests that the strategy guide is written for the point of view of somebody who is assuming that you're at a much higher level. Anyway, folks, that's it for this video. When we come back, I think we will start the quest to deal with the optional boss that is hidden away in that one screen in the desert where powerful sandstorms push us back. So we'll be dealing with that next time. Catch you then.